Boston Celtics, coached by the legendary Red Auerbach, established the greatest basketball dynasty, winning 8 straight NBA titles. During the 80s, the Larry Bird era has produced another 3 championship banners high atop the Garden rafters. But with the age factor setting in and sharpshooting Danny Ainge no longer in Celtic green, Boston must find a fountain of youth to continue its winning ways. Down in Dallas, the often misunderstood Mark Aguirre has departed. In his place, a new Maverick is in town, the well-traveled Adrian Dantley. Despite numerous injuries, the Mavs are still within striking distance in the wild, wild Midwest. In Game 2, Charles Barkley leads the Philadelphia 76ers into Portland's Memorial Coliseum to face the rejuvenated Clyde Drexler and the Trailblazers. A double dose of NBA next.
TBS Sports presents NBA Basketball, America's Game. Tonight's game is brought to you by Miller High Life. Brewed to be smooth, never bitter. Takes time to make, time to enjoy. Miller High Life. By Honda, to invite you to test drive the Accord LXI 4-door sedan at your local Honda dealer. By Wendy's, the best burgers in the business. And by the U.S. Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Along with Rick Barry, this is Bob Neal from the Boston Garden. The Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics both reached their conference finals last year. Both were expected to do well this year. However, injuries, personnel problems, new faces, and both teams are in the 8th spot in their respective conference, struggling to make the playoffs in the 1989 playoff season. And Rick Barry, that's also caused both Dallas and Boston to make some significant player transactions right here in the middle of the season.
Well, yes, it has, Bob, and this, of course, is not the most ideal time to be doing that. However, both teams at this juncture are very pleased with the changes that they have made. First of all, for the Boston Celtics, the big question was losing Danny Ainge. Would you have outside shooting? Well, they're hoping that Jim Paxson will get healthy and provide that outside shooting that Danny Ainge had done for so many years. Paxson has been injured and had a lot of different problems that have been causing him not to be that effective. However, the big reason for the trade was to get these 2 young men, Ed Pinckney and Joe Klein, so that Ed Pinckney can relieve Kevin McHale and Klein can give some backup help to Robert Parish, 2 of their stars who need some rest. And right now, that's been working out quite well for them. Now, down in Dallas, they had to do something with Mark Aguirre. They have replaced him with a player who is a very similar type of player who can post up, who can shoot the outside shot. Adrian Dantley has been a very, very valuable addition, I think, to the Dallas Mavericks and their hope to try and get back into the thick of things in the playoffs. Along with it, they picked up Herb Williams and let Detlef Schrempko. He's been a bit of a disappointment, but he's still a very promising player. Indiana's pleased with him. But with Herb Williams now, Bob, it's very important that they got him because James Donaldson's gone down, Wennington has gone down. Without Herb Williams, they could be in serious trouble, especially against the front line with McHale and Parish.
And this is the only arena in the NBA where Dallas has never won a game. We'll be back with the starting lineups and the tip-off in just a moment. But right now, let's go back to our studios in Atlanta and Craig Sager.
Well, thank you, Bob and Rick. Elsewhere, the Cavs and Pistons are at it again 3 days after their last meeting. The price of admission for Rick Mahorn, $5,000. That's what he was fined for elbowing Mark Price. We'll show you the unprovoked cheap shot at halftime. Coming up later tonight, Portland and Philadelphia. And joining us in the studio after his game with Charlotte, Atlanta Hawks coach Mike Fratello. I'll see you then. Stay tuned for Game 1, Dallas at Boston.
Bob Neal and Rick Barry with you from the Boston Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's have a look at the starting lineups. First of all, for the Dallas Mavericks, they've never won a game in this building. Sam Perkins and Terry Tyler up front, but Adrian Dantley will come in place of Tyler. That's Tyler's 9th straight start. Herb Williams playing at center in place of the injured James Donaldson. Blackman and Harper, 2 of the best guards in the NBA in the backcourt for the Dallas Mavericks. In his 16th season as head coach in the NBA, John McLeod having to exhibit a lot of patience and also creativity with his basketball team this year. For the Boston Celtics, McHale and Reggie Lewis playing up front. Of course, Lewis for the injured Larry Bird. Parish at center. He really likes the fact that he's getting help at the center position from Klein and less playing time. Dennis Johnson and rookie Brian Shaw will start at the point guard for Boston. And there's a man who also has been very patient this year and has had a very difficult time with his basketball team with a Bird injury and the new faces on the team, but he's exhibiting great patience and poise, and most people feel he's doing a very good job. Jimmy Rogers, tonight's officials, Evans, Rooney, and Maurer. And we're ready to get it underway at the Boston Garden on the parquet floor. There's the series profile. You see that Dallas has only won 2 games. Both of those, of course, were in Dallas. They won earlier this year by 16 points at Dallas, but Roy Tarpley was still with the team at that time.
And speaking of Roy Tarpley, that's another reason they got Herb Williams, because they do not know what's going to happen with Roy Tarpley, when he's going to come back, if indeed he does come back, what is going to happen with Roy Tarpley. Hopefully he will come back and have a very long and prosperous NBA career. We're all wishing that for Roy Tarpley.
Reggie Lewis, second year from Northeastern, here in Boston. Brian Shaw from University of California, Santa Barbara. Still struggling as a rookie, had one stolen last game. Harper with the layup.
Well, he's going up against one of the better defenders at the point guard position, Derek Harper. He and Rolando Blackman make up one of the best backcourt duos in the NBA.
So Dallas opens up with the first bucket. All those moves inside. Kevin McHale, he draws the foul. Speaking of Brian Shaw, Jimmy Rogers was telling me that Shaw, obviously as a rookie, has to work on his defense, but he said he also, as a point guard, believe it or not, has to work on his dribbling. He says he's much too high with it, often has to watch the ball too much, and it gets picked away from him. Bogues did it recently.
Well, fortunately, that is something that you can learn. It's just going to take time, and when you're playing in the middle of the NBA season, it's a difficult time to be able to get the practice in. You get your practice during the games most of the time, but he'll work on it. Brian's a very hard worker, and I know his former coach Jerry Pym is proud of him, and Brian will do what he has to do.
Perkins drew the foul for Dallas. We're knotted at 2 opening moments from Boston Garden. Rolando Blackman. Tyler can't hold on to it. McHale all alone. Shaw saw him late. Robert Parish, who's shooting in his last 6 games an unbelievable 74% from the floor.
Well, most people feel that Robert Parish is having his best season as a professional player this year. He's really taken up a lot of the burden with the loss of Larry Bird, and Kevin McHale's been getting a lot of criticism, unfortunately.
Perkins back out to Derek Harper with the penetration, through the foul. The basket will count. 3-point opportunity.
You know, Bob, this year we're seeing a different type of Harper. Derek is the type of player who's known for his defense and running the team. We're going to see the play now. There's the double, and coming out with Shaw. He caught him coming out, made the quick move to get by him. There's the body bump and the nice throw up. Gets it to drop, a chance for the 3-point play. Shaw did not do a good job of closing out on that play, but Harper decided this offseason he was going to come back with a new attitude, aggressive offensively, and he's done that.
From outside, Terry Tyler. As Dallas kept it alive, it's 6-4 Mavericks. Kevin McHale will launch it from 17 feet. Rebound Blackman. Blackman's become the leading scorer since the McGuire-Dantley trade on the Dallas team. Parish, second leading rebounder in the NBA, grabs that one. Reggie Lewis couldn't get his jumper to fall, although it's been falling with more regularity lately. Dallas by 2.
Well, he better start getting to the drop, because if Larry Bird comes back, he's going to have to play the 2-guard spot and play with Danny Ainge. Then they need outside shooting from Lewis if that happens.
Blackman with 4 on the shot clock. Tyler, 2 in a row for Terry Tyler. Terry Tyler with his 9th straight start. Played at the University of Detroit. College 10 years ago. There's Parish, strong to the hole, past Tyler and Herb Williams.
Well, playing Robert Parish, you never let him spin going to his left with his back to the basket. That was just not a good defensive position that time on the part of Williams.
The 7-footer Perkins has it knocked away by Reggie Lewis, and the whistle.
We'll see what Robert Parish. Now, see, Williams is playing to the inside, and Parish just makes a little step, didn't even drop step. Williams is totally out of position, overcommitted towards the inside. If anything, you want Robert Parish to go that way, which makes him have to use his left hand to shoot, and he's nowhere near as effective if he has to roll that way.
Lewis knocked it out of his hands. The personal, however, is on Kevin McHale, who got him before Lewis could get his hands down there, and Perkins rattles it home out of North Carolina, of course. Perkins, one of those who was very outspoken about the departure of Mark Aguirre to Detroit, and outspoken in his happiness at the trade. Dantley, of course, will be coming off the bench and be in the ball game. He's averaging, Dantley, about 18 points a game since he joined Dallas.
At 32, I believe, or 31 in one of the games off the bench.
Parish kicks it back out to Shaw. Back down with a nice pass to Lewis. Nice job of patience by Reggie Lewis, who gets the basket and draws the foul.
Well, that is the result, of course, again, of a play that broke down. Individually, Lewis went in. It was good defense on the part of Herb Williams to make him miss the shot. And then Lewis was left alone in the ensuing mix-up, and the loose ball went to the Celtics, and they capitalized.
10-9 Dallas. Shaw guarding Derek Harper. Herb Williams, nice move past Parish, but Parish recovered nicely and got good weak side help from McHale, and the Celtics come away with it. Dennis Johnson over the 7-footer. Perkins, no, Parish, rebound in the jam. Big offensive board for the Chief.
And where the mistake was made there is Tyler had picked up Parish, and Herb Williams is right there. Instead of talking and switching back so that Williams could have taken Parish, they didn't do that, and as a result, the height advantage of Parish paid off.
And Boston has retaken the lead with 8:07 to go in the first quarter. Harper, 4-3. Perkins will put it back. Williams with a rebound. And a great follow on the weak side from Sam Perkins. Down McHale and Shaw from 18. Brian Shaw.
And those are the type of shots that he must hit to be effective running this ball club.
Seesaw game now as Boston goes back up by 1. Harper rifled it inside to Tyler. Couldn't get it to fall from about 2 feet. Parish with a double team and the pass to Shaw, cutting down the lane. Robert Parish having himself a whale of a ball game. He has 6 points. Shaw has 4. Lewis 3 for Boston. And Parish with 6 points and 4 rebounds already. And an assist, of course, right there. And Derek Harper loses it out of bounds. Celtics have the ball and a 3-point lead.
That was good defense by Shaw, so the old payback comes back to haunt Harper that time. He took it from Shaw earlier in the game, just to start the game, in fact.
Parish with the jump hook. He drew the foul from Perkins. And we've got a timeout on the floor. That's 2 fouls on Perkins already with 6:49 to go in the first quarter from Boston. Red Auerbach in the center of your picture. I made my pilgrimage to the statue of Red over at the Quincy Market today. And before the game, we talked to him about the trade of Ainge for these 2 big guys. And Red told us his thinking behind that transaction.
We felt that we had to have backup for McHale and for Parish. If either one of them went down, you might as well go right down the poop. It's over. See? So we had to have some bulk, some size, and that let us examine different teams that could use a real good backcourt player, such as Danny.
And Danny Ainge out in Sacramento said he didn't mind the trade all that much, but he'll always be a Celtic at heart. And can Red say what he said on TV?
Down cable. And Red says what he wants to say wherever it is.
15-12, Boston leading with 6:49 remaining in the first quarter, and Uwe Blop enters the ball game. He played 6 minutes versus Miami on Tuesday for Dallas and did not take 1 shot. He's, of course, pressed into action because both Winnington and Donaldson are left in Dallas Donaldson has a groin, Winnington an ankle injury. Celtics on a 9-2 run at the moment. Make it 10-2 as Parish gets 1 out of 2. Both these coaches, Jimmy Rogers and John McLeod, with a real tough coaching job this year. Tyler with that great leap. Tries it from the baseline. Parish with his 5th rebound of this ball game. And he's 3 out of 3 from the floor. Of course, we tell you that Donaldson is not in there, so Parish is having his way early on with Williams and now Bluff. Reggie Lewis with the penetration move and a hard block from Williams right into the face of Kevin McHale. Bluff with the personal. That was Williams with the blocked shot, but it won't be in his stats. It came after the whistle.
I remember earlier in the season, Dennis Johnson telling us, Bob, that he felt that Reggie Lewis is going to become an outstanding player in this league as you take a look at Larry Bird and the Civvies.
Lewis filling in for the injured Bird. The latest on Bird in a nutshell is that he's working out with the team. Nobody will say, because he's such a valuable property, when they hope Bird will be back, but the word is that the best hope is around the 16th or 17th of March. Blackman from long range, just inside three-point territory. 18-14 Boston. Tell that the Celtics so feel better just having Bird working out with the team. 3-second violation. The Mavericks can pull to within 2. Tyler guarded by Lewis. Kept himself right between Tyler and the hoop. Did a good job defensively. May have even got a piece of that. Parish wanted to get it to the cutting Lewis. Couldn't. Here's Shaw from long range. Williams rebounding. Harper to Tyler. Kept alive by Blackman. Herb Williams. Great job on the offensive boards by Dallas, but they can't throw it in the ocean at the moment. Let's have a look at the Wendy's NBA scoreboard. Utah in front of Miami. Dallas had to win it on a three-point play by Blackman the other night. Atlanta way out front of Charlotte. That's at the Omni in Atlanta. McHale now with 2 personal fouls for Boston. And Pinckney enters the ball game. Of course, Ed Pinckney, Easy Ed as they called him, the MVP of the '85 Final Four when Villanova won it all. Drafted by Phoenix, traded to Sacramento, and now to Boston.
Yeah, but to show you how fleeting fame is, I mean, he left there, has been in the league for a number of years now, and when he got traded, McHale found out about it in the supermarket, and the guy said Ainge got traded for 2 players that this guy never heard of.
Lewis missing from the perimeter. He's struggling with his outside game right now. Williams can't hold on to it, and it's Boston ball. New shot clock. Pinckney's a quick slashing kind of forward, runs the floor well.
He has been working on that 15-foot jumper, something that was not really in his arsenal when he came into the NBA.
Lewis with the penetration and the pass to Parish. First one was blocked, then the foul. It's on Uwe Bluff.
Well, he had a lot of paratrooper members there, given all of those stakes, and invariably, if you get defenders in the air, Bob, you're normally going to draw the foul. Good penetration as Tyler was late getting there, and the good dish off. Robert lost the handle on it right there, was able to get it back. There's the good pump fake, the paratrooper club members, and Tyler with the foul. But that's the type of plays you like to see being made by a guy like Reggie Lewis, who has the ability to put it on the floor, is that when you draw the traffic, you've got to give it up to the open people.
Actually, they could have given that foul to any one of 3 people. They've decided now that Herb Williams will be officially charged with a personal as Adrian Dantley has checked into the ball game for Dallas. So Dallas has Dantley, Blackman, Derek Harper, Herb Williams, and Uwe Bluff on the floor. Jim Paxson is checked in for Boston in the backcourt with Dennis Johnson. Lewis moves up front with Parish and Pinckney. Parish with his 6th rebound. Make that 7. In the first quarter, 7 rebounds for Parish. And the penetration and the scoop blocked by Williams. Harper has him running. Blackman over on his left. With the reverse, Rolando Blackman from Derek Harper.
And that was a great pass on the part of Derek Harper. An excellent break opportunity as a result of the block by Williams. And that's one of the reasons that they wanted Herb Williams, because of that ability.
Parish hard into Uwe Blop, and he'll draw the foul.
You see Robert Parish make that move into the basket right here. Here comes Williams from the weak side, knocking it away, and that led to the easy opportunity on the good pass from Harper to Blackman.
Perkins with 2, Williams with 2, Blop with 2 for Dallas.
Parish out with a great start here in this ball game.
11 points, 7 rebounds for Parish. We'll be back in just a moment with 3:52 to go in the first quarter from Boston. Dallas has only 2 wins against Boston. Both of them came down in Dallas. This is 1986. Larry Bird on his way to a 50-point performance, hitting from long range against the Mavericks. And a man who was to someday become the long-distance champion along with Bird, Dale Ellis, now with Seattle, hitting what would prove to be the winning basket as Dallas went ahead to get one of their 2 victories, 116 to 115 back in 1986. Boston Garden now with the Celtics leading at 22-18, 3:52 to go first quarter.
Bob, you look out on that court and you see the Dallas Mavericks, you see Uwe Blop and Adrian Dantley and Terry Tyler along with Blackman and Harper. Those, I should say, are not the names of very familiar players for the Dallas Mavericks over the years.
Both the Mavericks and the Celtics with a lot of new faces. For teams who reach their conference finals, unusual to have so many new players. I think it's like 10 or 11 new players between the 2 teams. Dantley driving against Paxson, fouled before he got there. Jim Paxson committed the foul, and first the Mavericks. Look at all their new faces.
Yeah, well, as you can see, they have added quite a few people to their roster, and not exactly in their plans to start this season. And the same thing with the Boston Celtics with 6 new people. And it's very difficult to be able to continue at the level that you were at when you make that many changes in your roster. AD, a very rare miss on that first free throw.
Adrian Dantley, since coming to Dallas, is averaging 18 points a game, playing about 32 minutes a game.
It's just a defensive matchup with Paxson on him. There's no way Paxson can guard him when he goes down inside. I'm talking about guarding Adrian Dantley.
Dantley, of course, didn't show up at Dallas immediately after the trade. You talked to him about that prior to the game, I know. Why? Paxson inside to Pinckney. That's exactly what they wanted him for. The inside game. Relieving Kevin McHale right now. Nobody gets back for Boston. The easy basket for Dantley. They were lost.
That was just mental lapse. They'll give him that shot all night long. If you're John McLeod, you say, hey, if he wants to shoot that thing, let him do it.
Definitely a back to the basket post-up guy. 24-21 Boston. Dantley over Paxson. Adrian Dantley gets his first field goal. His second one after that break. And it's a 1-point Boston lead. Parish. 13 points for Roberts. He's 4 out of 5 from the field tonight. I told you coming into this game in the last 6, Parish was shooting 74% from the floor.
A lot of guys like to shoot that from the line.
No kidding. Matter of fact, that's what the percentage is of Reggie Lewis, who started the season really struggling at the free throw line, but coming along a little bit right there. We're talking about Pinckney's low post play.
Well, this is where you want to get him the ball. Down low, inside the paint. He only has to make a tiny move to be able to just drop it in the basket. You don't want him getting the ball 12 feet from the basket and taking a fadeaway jumper. Well, you do if you're John McLeod.
Paxson isolated against Blackman now. Off the screen comes Dennis Johnson. To Parish. Got his own rebound, then lost it. Dantley blowing past the much slower Paxson, missed the layup. And the loose ball foul will be against Dallas on Uwe Block.
Well, the Mavericks have had about 3 or 4 shots that could just as easily have gone in as not, and had they could have the lead in this ball game, of course, as we're going to get our first look at Joe Klein. And I'd like to right now wish or say congratulations from all of us at TBS to Joe and his wife Dana. About almost 2 weeks ago now, they had a little baby boy, Daniel Christopher. So congratulations to the Kleins.
On the day of the trade, he had a baby and a new team within 30 minutes, he said. Shaw in and Johnson sits down. So we have Pinckney and Shaw with Paxson and Reggie Lewis. And after Parish concludes his free throws, Klein will get into the ballgame shortly. Brad Davis getting set to check in for the Dallas Mavericks. You definitely need a scorecard with all the new faces on these teams with the trades and the new free agents and rookies. Harper on the penetration. Pinckney with the rebound. Shaw down to Parish. Over Uwe Bluff. Parish with 17 points and 8 rebounds, and there's a minute 14 to go in the first quarter.
He should take the rest of the night off because those are numbers that most centers get in the whole ball game.
He had to be drooling knowing that Donaldson and Winnington weren't here, and that Herb Williams, who's definitely more of a forward than center, had to start there. Blopp hadn't been able to do anything against him. Tyler missing. Paxson comes in to knock it out of bounds behind Uwe Blopp. It will be Dallas ball. Here comes Joe Klein and Brad Davis. Klein is 6'11", 270 pounds from Arkansas, the 6th player taken in the NBA draft in 1985 by Sacramento.
Dallas with a real small team in here, kind of like Don Nelson type of team here. Tyler, the biggest player at 6'7".
These guys have to introduce themselves before they come onto the floor. Dantley misses the layup on the drive.
He got fouled.
Harper almost stripped Shaw. Gets it to Paxson. 32-23. Boston has got a lot better bench play than has Dallas and has built a 9-point lead. Dallas has been really struggling without a bench.
He just got fouled again right there. I mean, Reggie Lewis has fouled him 2 times. The last 2 times he's touched it, no foul calls.
Pinckney knocks it out of bounds on the attempted pass into Blackman. 14 seconds to go in the first quarter. You see in the lower right of your screen. So Rooney, Evans, and Maurer are letting them play here in the first quarter. Davis had to change his shot. Got it past Pinckney and laid it in. Reggie Lewis missing. Davis from half court. Over everything. At the end of 1 quarter, Boston 32, Dallas 25.
Portions of tonight's game are brought to you by Honda, who invites you to test drive the Accord Coupe at your local Honda dealer. And by Reebok basketball shoes. When the new legends are made, they'll be wearing Reeboks.
Boston up by 7 as we head into the second quarter from the Boston Garden. Let's take a look at the Minute Maid Orange soft drink statistics from quarter number 1.
Well, I'll tell you, Dallas has to feel pretty good, actually, that they're only down by 7 when you shoot 36% out on the road and the opposition goes for 50. They've done a good job, of course, on the boards, which has helped keep them in there. But generally speaking, with that type of a performance, if they continue that way, it'll be a long evening here at the Boston Garden.
And we've got a lot of NBA action coming your way tonight. A doubleheader. Philadelphia is at Portland. Pete Van Wieren and Steve Jones will have that for you. We're talking about Parish with his 17 first quarter points. He outscored the entire Mavs front court 17-50.
Well, he's been playing just outstanding basketball all season long. In fact, a lot of people felt that he deserved to be on the All-Star team this year,
including me.
Number 31, Ron Grandison in the Celtics lineup.
So let's check the Celtics lineup. They have Shaw and Paxson in the backcourt, Pinckney, Klein, and just checking into the game, Ron Grandison up front. Grandison, 6'8" from New Orleans, out of Rochester in the CBA. He's number 31 on Dantley. Real scrapper. They call him the Pete Rose of the Boston bench. And he fouls Dantley.
See, I guarantee you, when you get a player who was going to play defense on you and put his arms out in the position that Grandison had it, and you're an offensive player, all you need to do is make a move and drive and go right into his arms, and you'll pick up the foul, just what Dantley did. There's a bump, no foul again.
Dantley got his own rebound. Stuck it back inside. Adrian Dantley.
AD's not getting a lot of breaks out here, I tell you that, Bob.
He'll keep hammering at the slashing to the basket till he draws them, though, as you well know, Rick. They'll start getting them sooner or later. It had Paxson posted inside against Blackman. Blackman had to hold him and picked up the personal list first. 32-27 Boston. Opening moments, second quarter from the Boston Garden. Rick Barry and yours truly, Bob Neal, with you tonight. Into Paxson. They just did it again, and Blackman pushed him again. Paxson moves so very well without the ball.
Well, that's his game, really, Bob. He's not the type of player who's going to get the ball, face you up one-on-one, and break you down and get the shot. But we'll watch him get the good position. Left of the screen, he sneaks baseline. Now he'll step in, get the good position, the good pass, and you saw the bump and the push from Blackman. That was excellent play on the part of Jim Paxson. Very smart player. And an excellent pass from the outside from Shaw to get it in as Harper comes in now for Blackman.
Harper and Davis will go to the backcourt for Dallas.
Yeah, well, Harper will run the point now, and Davis will play the two-guard position.
34-27 Boston, 11-17 to go first half. Dantley with Grandison. They clear the side for him, but he got rid of the ball this time. Trying to get to Perkins against the outsized Pinckney. They're really pushing and grabbing down there. Pinckney hung in there, but Perkins hit the soft floater over. Perkins with 6 in the game. Paxson from 19. Kept alive by Klein. Big round of applause. They like him here. The fans were happy to have Klein. Hope he does well. Grandison on the drive and the hoop. Oh my! Paxson.
Joe Klein got hurt.
Shaw. Pinckney's.
Klein hurt his
3
back.
seconds.
He hurt his back, Bob. He's asking to be taken out. Parish is going to come in. You see him holding on to it. He turned the wrong way and did something to the right part of his back, lower part of the back. 22nd timeout, Jimmy. Rogers is taking.
Yes, and we have 10:22 to go in the first quarter. Klein then signaled back. Of course, the players, you well know, he got hurt and he signaled back, "I'm okay," but we don't know if he's okay or not.
Well, watch Joe right here as the shot goes up. He's going to try and go up for the rebound. He comes down. And as he starts to go down, you can see him feel in the back. Starts to grab onto it, and when he went down the other end, he aggravated even further, and he's going off to the locker room now to be checked out.
We'll give you an update on the situation with Klein.
Well, that will not help the Celtics cause. They're very pleased that they had Klein here to be able to give Parish some rest, and now Roberts got to come back in, and hopefully Joe Klein will be okay.
Parish, Pinckney, and Grandison up front with Paxson and Shaw in the backcourt for the Celtics. Dallas with good ball movement and Perkins from the baseline.
And it all started with Adrian Dantley, who used to be a very selfish player, but he's really learned how to play the game, and it's an excellent addition to this Dallas ball club. And John McLeod even said, Rick, I told Adrian, AD, you know, you really know how to play this game. He's been impressed by it.
Parish with a nice pass to the cutting Brian Shaw. Shaw with 6 points. Boston up by 7. Paxson inadvertently stepped into the passing lane to Pinckney. That brought them to their feet, and the Celtics have a 9-point lead. The Mavericks have a timeout with 9.5 to go in the first half. Into action as that timeout was very short-lived. 40-31. Boston, Dallas with the ball. Here's Herb Williams against Parish. Wants to go to Dantley and decides instead to elect the jumper over Parish.
Derek Harper.
Backs into Pinckney against Perkins. Powers it inside, but couldn't get it over Perkins and Williams both down there. Williams gets it out to Davis. Now Dantley against Grandison, having his way with Grandison. Shaw goes down, but Dantley draws another foul.
Adrian Dantley's had his way with a lot of defenders over the years, Bob, but Grandison is doing what I think you need to do against a player like Dantley. Until that time, when he caught the ball on the way up the court, he was overplaying Dantley, making him work exceptionally hard to even get his hands on the ball. And that's what you need to do, is make the guy work hard for whatever it is that he gets. And you have to credit Grandison for doing that. And that's why the Celtics like him. He's a hard worker, will play the tough defense, will sacrifice himself, and he fits perfectly into the Celtic mold.
Dantley now starting to get some of those free throws, but that's only the 8th free throw of this game for Dallas. They're 6 out of 8. Boston already 14 of 15 as McHale comes back into the game.
I tried to get Adrian to let us know exactly why he held out, but he said he understood why the trade was made, and he thinks it's a little different reason than people are talking about, but he would not divulge the answer.
Shaw to Paxson as Dantley fell down. It left Grandison open to miss the layup, but there is Robert Parish.
Another rebound and 2 more points.
19 points to go with 9 rebounds for Parish. And yes, there are 8.5 minutes to go in the first half.
And he's been sitting most of this quarter.
Dantley starting to really cut him in two down low. Who's going to play Dantley for Boston?
Well, they need to get some help is what they need to do. They haven't really done much of a job of coming to double him early enough when he does get it.
Grandison had the pass blocked back in his face, and now Dallas runs. Beautiful move by Derek Harper.
The Mavericks are right in this game, Bob, but they're not playing their best, and Adrian Dantley has been a big factor.
Parish all alone. Gets the lob, missed it, and kept it alive.
2 more rebounds and another 2 points.
But that'll cut his field goal percentage down. 21 points, 11 rebounds. A double-double for Robert Parish with 7:20 to go in the first half. Dantley called the offensive foul this time.
Excellent call.
Offensive foul on the Mavericks, number 48, Dantley is first.
Watch the right arm of Adrian Dantley. Grandison's going boom. He just got right in there and shoved him off. Official right on top of a good call by Wally Rooney. See him in the back left part of the screen with the signal.
Dennis Johnson back in to go with Shaw in the backcourt. Lewis moves up to the 3 spot. McHale battled the inside.
And you see the difference. McHale is just so much more polished with his moves in close to the basket as opposed to an Ed Pinckney. Of course, you're talking about one of the top players in the league as opposed to a reserve.
And that was the first field goal of the game for Kevin McHale. The Celtics are calling a timeout, leading 46-38 here in the second quarter. Here are our Honda leaders. You see that both Dallas and Boston, along with Denver, Philly, and Atlanta, take good care of the basketball. The fewest turnovers in the NBA. We have an update now on Joe Klein, the backup center for Boston. They say that he bruised his back and will return to the game, except, Rick, I didn't see anybody hit his back. Looked like he pulled something to me.
Well, I guess it's more of an aggravation. He obviously turned the wrong way, came down funny on it, and did something that caused some stiffness. You can see right there on that look of Joe Klein that he still is in a bit of discomfort with that and trying to loosen it up. But you never know with a back problem as to how it's going to respond.
Boston Celtics are in last place to make the 8 playoff spots in the Eastern Conference right now. They're just really not that much ahead of Washington. 3 games for that 8th and final playoff spot.
Yeah, the Mavs are 6 for 7 from the field in this period, but because of 5 turnovers, they trail by 1 more point than they did at the one more than they did at the end of the first period.
Perkins and Tyler's back in there for Dallas. Perkins, Tyler, and Williams up front with Davis and Harper for the Mavs. McHale draws the double team and then elects to shoot it anyway. Gets the bounce. What a bounce that was. His buddy Danny Ainge was still here. Ainge would be giving him a lot of grief over that. Kevin McHale says he misses Danny more as a friend than a player, although he said he thinks that Danny Ainge's contributions, although appreciated, were really underestimated by most here at Boston. Blackman back in for Davis.
Well, again, Kevin receiving a lot of heat. He also was mentioned as a possible some trade bait along with Danny Ainge, and they had discussed it quite a bit, and obviously they elected to go with Danny.
On the flight back from the coast, McHale and Ainge set with each other, talking about wonder which one of us will get traded. It'll be Mavericks ball with 5 on the shot clock.
You can say, like, McHale's still averaging 22 points and 8 rebounds a game. Not too shabby.
Well, they're criticizing him particularly for his defensive play. Blackman has it blocked by Shaw, and they'll put 5 seconds back on the clock again because it had ticked down to 1 second. Some coaches would like to not do that. In other words, not reset the clock and say if you knock it out of bounds, why should you be penalized defensively? Tyler, jump hook.
That looked very pretty.
McHale, everybody on him. Somebody should be open. Lewis. An ill-advised shot attempt. Blackman has Tyler on the left. Blackman sticks it back. And Boston is now up by 4. They've led by 9. McHale powers it inside. McHale's now hit 3 in a row. He went the entire first quarter without scoring a field goal, and now hit last 3 attempts. This is Lewis on Blackman. This will test his defensive skills. Stayed with him pretty well. Stripped it away. But that's Rolando Blackman.
That's an offensive player right there, folks. You don't let those little things bother you.
Lewis says, what do I have to do? Nice job by Lewis down there. Now McHale isolated. Finds the open Johnson. He reverses it to Lewis. Dantley on the sideline about to come back in. Off the bench already, Adrian Dantley has 10 points for Dallas. Blackman tried to pass it to Harper. It was stolen. Shaw lost it. Parish, another rebound, another basket. 23 points to go with 12 rebounds. Timeout, Mavericks.
Bob, Adrian Dantley, of course, in the big trade for Mark Aguirre from Detroit. This is something that was attributed to Adrian Dantley, saying that players today, they're for themselves. Coaches are that way. They're selfish. Players got to be selfish, too. So I asked him if indeed he did say this.
Well, what I meant by that is you have to win as a team. Coaches and the players have to work together. But it's a cruel business at times. And sometimes you do have to be selfish, not to the point where you go out and play a basketball game. All I care about is, getting 25 points and I'm happy. No, if you win games, everybody's going to be happy. But it's just a business where you have to do what you think is best for you at times.
Adrian Dantley off the bench tonight with 10 points, settling in at Dallas, but a disturbed person over the trade, no question about it.
But he also meant in that regard that sometimes when you have to do things for yourself, he was talking not only for players, but he feels that coaches do that as well.
What did he say? They've got to keep their jobs. Dennis Johnson just had Harper all wrapped up. Shot clock down to 8 seconds for Williams against Parish. Lobs inside to Dantley. Lewis had to hold him. At the conclusion of the game tonight, Rick and I will select the Miller Lite player of the game. Except Rick never, ever asks me.
No, but usually our producer tonight, Roe Backfish, will ask you what you think. Well, Skip always lets me pick it on my own. See, I'm spoiled.
How about I'll pick mine now, Robert Parish. Here's Perkins from long range. Rebound, Dennis Johnson.
Does that mean you think the Celtics are going to win this game?
No, I just voted for Parish. I wanted him on the All-Star team. I like his performance here tonight, which isn't bad, with 23 points and 12 rebounds in the first half. Sure does indicate Dallas's problem at the center position with Donaldson out of there. 9 on the shot clock for Williams. Rebound, Dennis Johnson. He's got 2 rebounds in a row.
And no green shirts going to the offensive boards.
Dennis Johnson, by the way, is only about 100 rebounds away from 5,000 in his career. Fair numbers for a guard.
That's also a shot that you'd like to see Kevin McHale take all night also.
54-46, Boston by 8, 2:30 to go, first half.
Of course, I'm speaking in the context of being a Dallas Maverick.
Off the screen, Blackman. Rebound, Parish, that's number 13, out to Paxson.
And those are the kind of shots that Rowe usually buries, and he needs to do that if the Mavs are going to get themselves back in this one and pull it out.
There's Paxson again coming off a screen. He ran all over the court to get that pass from.
Well, that's John Paxson's game, Bob. You know, move, run, get yourself off the screen and nail it.
One of the jerseys hanging here above the garden, number 17, was pretty well known for all that movement to get loose for the ball. Johnson stripped it. Paxson out in front, has Parish with him. Parish misses, stays with it, it's stripped away. Boston ball. Robert may be getting tired. Getting tired of shooting this often. This is Bob Neal and Rick Barry from the Boston Garden with the Celtics up by 10. 22 on the shot clock for Boston. Joe Klein came in for Robert Parish. Hurt his back after playing only a few minutes. Went out. They said it was a bruised lower back and will return, but he has not returned to action yet. Lewis behind McHale for that 18-footer, and Reggie Lewis has 9. Boston's biggest lead, it's 12. This time Dantley called for trying to hold Paxson. Coming up at halftime, the Prudential Halftime Report. Craig Sager will be in Atlanta studios with the NBA beats, scores, highlights from around the league, and tonight's special feature, Ron Anderson of the Philadelphia 76ers. Sixers will be in our second game out of Portland tonight. Parrish couldn't hold the pass. Lewis getting a loose ball. 9 on the shot clock. Down to 6, 5 for 3, Dennis Johnson. Less than a minute to go in the first half. Blackman open. Blackman with double figures now. He has 10 and a half.
Well, if the Mavs can hold the Celtics here and score a hoop themselves and get it under 10 going into halftime, they'll be in pretty good shape.
Paxson misses the triple attempt. Dantley missed the layup.
They're going to call a foul on Harper.
Going for the ball, Harper commits the loose ball foul. That's his first. With 32 seconds left, though, Dallas blew a golden opportunity to narrow this lead.
Well, they can still do a good job defensively and get that last shot again and get it underneath 10. But, again, that's one of those shots that could have easily got in. Dantley missed the layup attempt. They've had at least a half a dozen balls that rolled in and out.
Time remaining in the half in the lower right. Shot clock down to 5, 4, 3. At the buzzer, Dennis had to put it up there. I don't think Parish knew what the clock said. Almost stolen by McHale. Perkins from long range. At the buzzer, Boston leading it by 10. Rick and I will be back here at the Garden in just a few minutes, but after these commercial messages, we'll be going back to our studios in Atlanta. Craig Sager with the Prudential Halftime Report.
Central may be the NBA's strongest division, but as of now, it appears to be a race for second place. Not only do the Cleveland Cavaliers have the best record in the NBA, they also have the momentum of a 6-game winning streak. But they do not have Mark Price tonight. He is out after suffering an elbow from Rick Mahorn the other night. We'll show you that in a moment. Meanwhile, Rick Mahorn is hit with a technical in the first quarter. So is Chuck Daly. They thought Mahorn got fouled at the other end. Meanwhile, Mahorn gets a finger from Tree Rollins in the eye. He has to leave the game. He should be back, however, in the second half. Meanwhile, a very low-scoring game. Both teams having trouble scoring. Ron Harper gets a layup off the miss by Mark Aguirre, and it's only 46-42 now as they go into the locker room at the half. No trouble for the Hawks scoring. 77 points by intermission. Dominique Wilkins with 25 of those. Here he gets a pass over to Doc Rivers, who has a nice layup, 10 points for the quarter. And Mike Fratello is smiling. This one could be a laugher. Dominique with a steal. And goes in for an easy layup as the Hawks in a rout 96-75 in the third quarter. Utah and Miami. Utah took a 15-2 lead on this play right here. John Stockton with the basket, Karl Malone with the assist. It's about time they changed positions. Stockton all year has been giving the assist to Malone, but this time it's the other way around, and Utah is up by 10. That also in the third quarter. Milwaukee at Chicago, where the Bulls have a 10-point lead. Scottie Pippen gets the basket. Going into the second quarter, just 30-20. 3 other games are later tonight, including the second half of our doubleheader. The world headquarters of Turner Broadcasting. The Detroit Pistons are the self-proclaimed bad boys of the NBA, particularly forward Rick Mahorn. Tuesday, he threw an elbow at Cleveland's Mark Price. Today, Mahorn paid the price. More on tonight's NBA Beat.
The Cavs played last night without Mark Price, sidelined with a concussion from an elbow he received late in Tuesday's game.
96-85 Cleveland. Down goes Price. He got hit by an elbow.
Mahorn caught him in the left ear.
Williams.
Making it great in the NBA. Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
From grade school to high school to college to the pros. With each level, attrition takes its toll on blue chippers, superstars, and All-Americans. But there's always an exception, and Paul Ryden found one who started late and is making up ground in a big way.
It's 1988, another typical Indiana Pacers game. You can tell because Ron Anderson is riding the bench again. In the offseason, he's traded to Philadelphia, and ta-da, he's riding the bench. But this is a new and improved Ron Anderson, and when he enters the game as Philly's sixth man, look out. Anderson has gone from 14 scattered minutes a game to 32, from 7 points a game to 17, and still he has no desire to be a starter.
My role, I feel, is that to come in off the bench and give the team a lift, whether it be running the court, hard, getting out on the break, scoring easy baskets, playing good defense, defensive rebounding, that sort of thing. Not just maintain the tempo that has been going on before I come into the game, but just try to pick up the pace a little bit.
He certainly picked up the pace of a career that was stagnating behind Chuck Person and Wayman Tisdale at Indiana. But looking back, that was pretty impressive competition for a guy who never even played high school basketball.
After high school, Ron's stock rose. Literally, he was a stock manager stocking cans at a grocery store in Chicago, where he might still be today had it not been for a certain college basketball scout.
I'd go to work, lunch break, I'd go out and play basketball. After work, I'd go to the park, play basketball, and that was my life. I was just a kid at that time who really had no desire to do much of anything. I was playing in a park tournament in Cabrini Green in Chicago, and a guy by the name of Keith Williams, he played at the junior college in Santa Barbara. He was on vacation that summer, and he was watching his brother play. And I think I scored 29 points in this tournament. And after the game, he came up and he said, "Hey, how would you like to play basketball in California?"
He did, and 2 years later, he transferred from Santa Barbara to Fresno State, where he became the school's 9th leading scorer in just 2 seasons. Now, the NBA. But it's not a dream come true, really. As a kid, he never gave it any thought, but he thinks about it now.
It's taken me a while to get to this point, where I'm playing a considerable amount of minutes. And now that I'm here, I feel as though I should take advantage of it. It's not a dream come true. You can just say that I've been blessed, and it feels good.
So, all you NBA bench sitters out there, you guys who claim that with a little more playing time you could prove yourselves, now you've got someone to point to. Ron Anderson, your hero.
And you can see Ron Anderson, the Philadelphia 76ers against Portland a little bit later tonight. Joining us in the studio at halftime of that game will be Atlanta Hawks coach Mike Fratello. But we still have half of game 1, and our gentlemen are standing by. Go ahead, Bob. Rick, rather.
Skip? I think you look more like Skip than I do. You put on a few pounds. You're chubbing up there, buddy. Watch yourself.
Bob and Rick here at Boston Gardens. Thanks, Craig. And Robert Parish has just had a whale of a ball game. First half, 15 rebounds to go with 23 points, and there were only 5 rebounds and 2 points out of the center position for the Dallas Mavericks as you take a look at the halftime stats.
Well, you can see the Mavs came up from around 36% up to 45, so he had a pretty good second period. The Celtics slipped from 50 down to 48, but the rebounds have helped keep the Mavs in this ball game. Turnovers, of course, have hurt them with 10-5 for the Boston Celtics. But if you take a look at some of the action, the Mavs didn't get a lot of breaks when it came to their shots. Here you see Blackman come off of the screen wide open. He usually buries this shot. Even though he shot 5 for 9 in the first half, that one just kind of knocks off the rim. Tyler can't handle it. Shaw's got it for the Celtics, and they're off to the races. The long pass down to Kevin McHale, and we'll cut to a little low angle on this same play as it continues on. Shaw gets it back. The quick pass around to DJ. He finds inside the man, Robert Parish, as he gives the good move, the little turnaround, and 2 of his 23 points. And for the Dallas Mavericks, one of the bright spots was finally coming into play off the bench. Adrian Dantley, of course, involved in that big trade. Battles to get good position on Grandison. Finally gets the pass, is able to knock him out of the way, and he lays it in. And Adrian Dantley off the bench came up with 10 points in the first half. They're going to need more from AD, but they've got to get some inside scoring as you see the first half scoring leaders for both teams, Bob. Of course, Boston's always been tough on the inside, 30-12 over Dallas. And when you get that type of a differentiation in the scoring inside, normally you're going to win a basketball game. So Dallas has got to do a little better job inside this half.
Well, as I said, the centers, Herb Williams, who's really a forward, who started at center in place of James Donaldson, who, by the way, along with Winnington, are back in Dallas, both with injuries. And Uwe Blop scored a total of 2 points and pulled on 5 rebounds. So the center position, a real problem tonight, and that's one of the reasons Parrish is having what could turn out, if he keeps this thing rolling, into a season and even career night for Robert Parish. 58-48, Boston by 10 at the half. Derek Harper, Rolando Blackman in the backcourt, Perkins, Williams, and Tyler up front for the Mavs. Johnson, Shaw, McHale, Parish, and Reggie Lewis, who's defending Tyler, to no avail for Boston.
And right away, John McLeod called for a play to go down inside. He obviously feels that they need to do a little something in that department this half.
Terry Tyler with his 9th straight start for the Dallas Mavericks since Dantley joined the team and Aguirre was traded. Tyler, a great leaper. Gets it off to Blackman. Blackman just didn't look comfortable on that jumper, a little off balance as he did a couple of times previously in the first half.
And another rebound for Parish.
16 rebounds. McHale, the double team leaves Johnson open. Double clutch for Dennis Johnson. His first points of the ball game. He had 6 assists in the first half, but no points. Boston back by 10. Blocked by Parish. Next he'll be selling popcorn. Lewis wide open. Weakness in the Mavericks defense that time down, particularly a mix-up between Blackman and Tyler. Parish, I think that McHale may have got his hand on that. Still another rebound. That's right. It's at 17 if you're keeping rebound score. There's another rebound. That's 18.
And 2 more points. I think we've said this a number of times this evening, haven't we?
Oh, my. 25 points and 18 rebounds. It'll be interesting if he gets career highs in both and he out-rebounds his point total. 9 of Robert Parish's rebounds have been offensive boards, and John McLeod sees that this is definitely going Boston's way and gets the timeout with 10 minutes to go in the third period. It's only a 22nd break in the action, however. A lot more basketball action coming your way on the Superstation. Coming up next tonight, we'll have Philadelphia at Portland, with Barkley leading the Sixers, and Drexler, who came back with a vengeance after he was injured, rejoined his team in the action inside the NBA also tonight with Fred Hickman. That'll be following our doubleheader. And tomorrow, U.S. Olympic gold, women's world downhill skiing from Lake Louise, Canada, and the World Luge Championships from Winterberg, West Germany.
Of course, that's a TBS Sports exclusive.
You're right. 62-50 Boston, 9:49 to go, third quarter. Rolando Blackman with his first points of the third quarter, and the steal by Harper against Johnson. So that proved to be a very valuable 4-point timeout for John McLeod. There's that pull-up jumper of Reggie Lewis. He loves that area. The dribble, the pull-up, and about the 14, 15-footer. Blackman dishes it to Perkins, to Williams. Went to his left hand. Rebound Reggie Lewis. Bad pass by the rookie Brian Shaw. The drop off. One touch, and Tyler has to get fouled. Is that Shaw who got him or Lewis? It's Shaw. That's 3 personals on Bryant.
Well, now turnovers hurting the Celtics, but they only had 5 in the first half, Bob. They've already had 3 here in the first, 2 minutes and 10 seconds of this third period. So they're going to have to be a little bit more careful with the basketball.
Well, we talked about the addition of Pinckney and Klein helping the Celtics inside, and there's no question that's happened, but they sorely missed Danny Ainge at the 2-guard spot, and Ainge also an excellent ball handler. With the rookie and the aging Jim Paxson, it's a tough situation for the Celtics at the guard position. (64-56), Boston by 8. Harper going for the steal.
That's great defense by Harper. I'll guarantee you, he worked his tail off on that play. Got through the screen. Watch him again. Look at him right on top, fork through the screen, tipped the ball away. He touched it, then last touched by Dennis Johnson. Great effort on the part of Harper.
And a good call by the officials. That ball bounced off Johnson's shoulder. Not bounced on the inline off the hands of Herb Williams. This is Alphonse and Gaston. I got it, you take it.
No, Gaston's up in the stand sitting next to Red Auerbach. Actually, Gaston, the owner of the team, one of the principals.
Way too subtle. Here's Reggie Lewis at the free throw line. Down to McHale. Back to Lewis. Parish. Rebound 18, but he had that one stolen. Harper has been a madman the last couple of minutes. Boston ball, 19 on the shot clock.
Those are people who are close to the Maverick team really feel that Derek Harper is the soul of that ball club, that he really dictates how they play, and it's that type of attitude that helps them win a lot of ball games, that hustle and drive that he has.
Speaking of drive, Williams knifing to the lane. That's the foul.
Good segue, Bob.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the express written consent of the NBA is prohibited. That personal foul on Lewis is second. Herb Williams with only 2 points, had 5 rebounds in the first half. Now has 6 and is only 1 of 5 from the field. Williams, of course, came in that trade from Indiana for Detlef Schrempf.
Well, you know, I think both of those ball clubs are in similar situations, Bob, where they needed to make some personnel changes to try and get things happening for their ball clubs. They were both stagnant and they were going nowhere.
Williams is averaging 7.5 points a game for Dallas, but nearly 8 rebounds. The Mavs were on an 8-2 run until Paxson hit that one.
Well, Jim's stroking the ball a lot better coming off of those screens. That's the best I've seen him shooting the ball in the games that we've had them on.
You know, he missed 3 games on that Boston West Coast trip with a groin injury. Left and right side of the groin. He really had a problem with it. Williams is fouled as he drives the baseline. That'll be Parish, and his first.
The penetration causes the problem. There's Blackman blowing by. 2 players come over to help. The dish off to Williams. He takes it to the opposite side. Parish got him with the left arm. He made the block with the right, but if you saw, his left arm was in his back.
Williams about a 70% free throw shooter, but he's only hitting about 58% from the line since he came to Dallas. Perkins almost stole it, and there was a foul in the backcourt. Lucky thing, because there were 9 seconds elapsed on the 10-second half-court clock, and it's on Perkins, his third, by the way.
That's for sure. Had the foul not been called, there would have been a 10-second violation because Parish is still on the wrong side of the half-court line.
9 seconds had counted down. And it's Johnson posted up with a double clutch. Parish can't get it. Here comes Derek Harper. Perkins with the left hand, of course. As a matter of fact, the opposite hand. Check that. What it meant was his opposite hand. He's a left-hander. And he went to his right. That's what I'm trying to say. Boston now has had that lead whittled down to a narrow 4 points as the Mavs are on a run.
It's time for the Gatorade Slam Dunk. Tonight's Slam Dunk by Michael Jordan.
Byron Scott's been hot lately, and the Lakers are playing well. They go into Atlanta to take on one of the powers of the East, the Atlanta Hawks, and Reggie Theus, their newcomer. Scott, Theus, and company. Lakers, Atlanta, 8:05 Eastern Time next Tuesday. Skip Carey, Steve Jones will have that ball game for you. That man right there, we know he'll be pulling for. You can almost make it out. It says, I hate LA.
I wonder why you can't make it out, Bob.
Wrinkled shirt. Boston by 4 with 6:48 to go in the third quarter. We were talking about Derek Harper in the game he's playing. 8 points, 8 assists, and 6 steals in this game tonight.
You see that graphic there telling you why the Celtics have been struggling, very inconsistent.
Inside to McHale. Not pretty, but it counts for 2 anyway. And Boston gets that lead back to 6. McHale has 10 points. That makes it the 217th consecutive game that Kevin McHale has scored in double figures. Shot clock down to 7 seconds for Blackman. Now Perkins with 4 on the clock. McHale got away with a push there on Williams. Boston has the ball. We were talking about the criticism on McHale as Parish misses. There's McHale's second rebound of this game. They said McHale hadn't rebounded as much as they need him down in that hole, and he got his first 2 rebounds of the game in those last 2 exchanges.
How about Robert Parish? Almost all of them.
Nobody's getting him. You're right about that. Dantley with about 3 moves and no basket. Now 3 rebounds for Kevin. Maybe he hurt us. Joe Klein, who hurt his back earlier, is about to come back into the ball game. Parish rebounds, stick back. 27 points, 20 rebounds for Parish. His season high is 24 rebounds. His career is 32. He's challenging those. We've got a timeout down here as Boston's back to a 10-point lead.
Well, keep your eye on the 2 men on your left, Robert Parish and Herb Williams, even though McHale will get the ball here and take the shot. And watch what happens defensively. Williams does not come over and put a body on Parish, lets him walk in, tries to go for the rebound, allows Parish then to be right there to steal the rebound and get the easy basket. He had him in a perfect position, but so many big men, Bob, don't screen off the glass, and that cost them.
Here's the Wendy's NBA scoreboard. Utah leading Miami in the 4th quarter, and Atlanta clobbering Charlotte. Charlotte's going on a nightmarish road trip, and Cleveland, Detroit in another beautiful ball game. What a matchup those two are.
Cleveland's won the 3 times they played this year so far, and they're playing up at Auburn Hills.
Dantley missing, tipped in by Herb Williams. We're talking about Williams giving up that relatively easy rebound to Parish a moment ago. Williams had 29 rebounds for Indiana earlier this year. That's the most anybody's got in the NBA. Parish could be challenging that this game. Perkins with this one.
You know, it's like both teams are making little mini surges here. I mean, the Celtics can't put the Mavs away, and the Mavs can't get back to tie. Good pass.
Ripped away from Williams, who stayed with it. Herb Williams came alive now. Williams with 10 points, had only 2 in the first half. He's had 8 in this quarter.
Here we go again. The Mavs on a 4-point run.
McHale with about 5 moves. Outside, back, inside, scoop shot. McHale 6 out of 9 from the floor. Beautiful drive by Harper. 74-68 Boston, 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter.
But the Celtics are allowing the Mavs to get a lot of penetration down the middle, and it's causing them a bit of a problem, allowing the Mavs to stay in this ball game.
Paxson off that baseline screen. Kicks it out here to McHale. Who wanted the set shot. Klein's back in the ball game after the timeout. Powers it inside to draw the foul from Herb Williams.
Let's watch Kevin McHale's previous basket as you talked about it. He'll have Perkins on him. Makes a little move to the middle, a little fakey traveled, as you see right there. He picked his pivot foot up and moved. I was wondering how he got there real quick. That was a good replay. But you saw Kevin McHale had his right foot as the pivot foot, picked that up to be able to step by Perkins. It's no wonder he beat Perkins on that one.
And Klein, who hurt his back in the first half, is back into this ball game. Klein is the best free throw shooter in the NBA this year at 92%. Both of these. His first points of the ball game. Talked to the Celtics PR director, Jeff Twiss, who said that Klein told him at the half that he simply went up for the rebound, as you said, probably happened, Rick. Twisted the back, had a spasm when he went out. Dantley fouled as he drives. And it's Reggie Lewis picking up his 3rd.
See, I'll tell you, playing Adrian Dantley, first of all, what you got to do with him, Bob, is you've got to overplay him and force him out to get the ball. And once he gets out past 18 feet, let him get it, back off him and say, Adrian, if you want to beat me from out there. You don't want to let him get into the middle because he's impossible in there.
Dantley looking for his first points of the second half. At 10 in the first half. teacher, they call him. First team he played for of the 6, the Buffalo Braves. Boston by 6 now. Lewis loves that pull-up when he turns in there and gets the shooter's bounce.
Well, they got AD coming out on him on a quick closeout. He didn't close out the way you should defensively, and when you get a defender coming at you, Bob, it's easy to get that half step.
Blocked back in at center now for Dallas. Williams has moved to the power forward spot. Dantley couldn't get anything that time, and here come the Celtics. Lewis, nice pass inside to McHale. And the Celtics on a run, as you were pointing out, Rick. It's a game of surges. The Mavs had cut the lead down to 4 points. Now Boston back to 10. Shot clock to 5 for Block. That's the first shot he's taken in 2 games. Maybe advisedly so.
Yeah, he rushed himself.
Williams and McHale really banging away down low, as are Klein and Block.
Well, there's a push-off by Lewis.
And the hoop.
He did the same thing that AD did to him before, and AD got the offensive foul call because Lewis just used the right arm to knock AD out of the way.
Well, they called Dantley the teacher. It looks like he's taught Reggie Lewis something here tonight. Now Dantley taking Lewis to school again, this time giving it up to Block. Dantley from Harper. Nice ball movement by the Mavs on that possession. 10-point Boston lead. Minute 45 to go. Third quarter.
Well, if things go the same way, the Celtics should miss and the Mavs should go down and score.
McHale with a push off for Williams. And Klein will draw the loose ball foul. That's his first.
Well, now Dallas goes down and they should score. So after a 4 run by Dallas, we had an 8 run by Boston, and now Dallas has a chance. Well, we got the penalty, so they have a chance to get some more points.
Brad Davis, newly ended game for the Mavs.
Moving along to the line, the Mavericks has 2 shots.
Uwe has a pet parrot, I believe. A large parrot. I forget the actual name of his picnic.
Are you sure it's not another kind of bird if it's a large parrot?
He talks. It's talk. He teaches it how to talk. He talks to him all the time.
Teaches it German. McHale sits down and Pinckney checks in. Speaking of Pinckney and Klein, Klein's wearing 53, Pinckney 54. When you come to the Celtics, you know, they're about out of numbers. They've got so many retired here. What, 16, I believe. Off with the rebound off the long miss.
Smart play by Brad Davis. He really didn't have a decent shot at the basket, but once he heard the whistle, he made sure he got it airborne.
Brian Shaw with 4 points. Talking about I was just counting them up there. I guess it's 15 that are retired.
Of course, one of them, number 1, was for the former owner of the team.
Nevertheless, that number's not available.
That's true.
Shaw has 4 personals now. He sits down. Dennis Johnson back in with Paxson. So it's Klein and Pinckney, Paxson and Dennis Johnson, and Reggie Lewis on the floor for the Celtics.
Well, now that's a 6-point run by Dallas.
Dennis Johnson looking for Paxson off the baseline. Klein against Block. Block with the block. And Paxson with a steal, but he can't keep it in bounds. Appreciative crowd with a round of applause for number 4.
Oh, good hustle on the part of Paxson as he steps in on Davis, who did not realize he was there, tries to save it.
Mavs going for what they'll hope will be their 8th straight unanswered point. And the foul.
That's the old paratrooper club again. I mean, he was the wise veteran. The teacher went to work there as kind of dishing out a lesson.
It's on Paxson, his second. Dantley with 14 points in the game now. I like Adrian Dantley. I mean, I've always enjoyed him as a player. It seems as teams keep saying he's only 6'5". Red Auerbach said prior to the trade, I mean, he said it a couple of years ago to me, he says, he's really a dinosaur. Will there ever be players like Dantley come in as forwards at 6'5" again? I don't know.
Well, if you can play like Adrian Dantley, you'll make it.
Missed the free throw, almost got his own rebound. 23 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Very uncharacteristic of Adrian to miss 2 in a row.
Seven on the shot clock for Boston. Lewis launches a three-pointer. And you heard 2 buzzers, one the shot clock, the second the quarter clock. At the end of 3, Boston 82-76 over Dallas. We're in a Memorial Coliseum in Portland. Dallas here on a little bit of a run. 6 straight points unanswered against Boston. We're ready to start the fourth quarter. Dallas has had balanced scoring. They've played 8 players in this ball game, and 6 of them are in double figures. Let's take a look at the Minute Maid Orange soft drink statistics through 3.
Well, the Celtics shot a little bit better on that quarter. Got back up to 49 for the game. The Mavs at 45. That's just about where they were at the end of the half. Again, the Celtics did a little better job, though, on the rebounds. You see the turnovers is what hurt the turnovers. They had 5 turnovers in that quarter for the Celtics, hurt them a bit. The Mavs with only 1 turnover, so that was a big difference for them. They cut 2 points off of their deficit, and they've got a shot at it.
You see that in November and December, when Roy Tarpley was playing with Dallas, they were 17-9, and since he's been on the suspended list, the team is struggling. John McLeod said, no question about it, we've got to have Tarpley to be effective. The pass from Paxson to Klein.
Well, again, penetration causes so many problems. It forces Blop to come over to pick him up. That lets Klein roll to the basket strong, which is the smart thing to do on his part. He took it home with authority and a chance to complete the 3-point play.
Dantley picked up his 3rd personal for Dallas. This is not much of a defensive front line in there for Dallas. Tyler, Block, and Dantley. So Boston may be pounding it inside. Let's see what Klein and Pinckney do against it.
Oh, you see the shot Klein just gave to Davis going through the lane.
Shot clock down to 8 seconds. Rebound Lewis, kept alive by Klein. Lewis lost it. Klein is there to get the loose ball, and he drew the foul. That's what they like about him here. He will scramble for the loose balls.
Well, he's a banger. He's a hustler. The thing about Joe Klein is that he was a #1 pick for the Sacramento team. They expected so many big things from him down there. Unfortunately, Joe Klein is not the type of player who's going to carry a team, not the type of player that you're going to win a championship with him being your starting center. He has the ability to start and play sometime there, but his real role, I think, in the NBA is going to be as a backup center, a guy who knows the game, who can come in, give time to a player like a Robert Parish. I think he's found his niche here with the Celtics.
Perkins in for Tyler. You see Klein shake his head over his free throw miss. He hadn't missed many this year. He came in here the leading free throw shooter in the NBA.
You know, another thing, Bob, it's all attitude-wise. I think that Joe felt the pressure that was being placed upon him, the demands being placed upon him, the fact that a lot of people were displeased with his performance. Here, he doesn't have that pressure. It's not expected of him, so he can go out and just play the game.
Boston 18 of 20 from the free throw line tonight. One of the differences in this game. 10-point lead. Davis with a good fake and the 15-footer. Dallas with only 10 players on this trip. Donaldson and Winnington at home in Dallas, recuperating. Winnington from an ankle, Donaldson from a groin injury. Reggie Lewis. Pinckney knocked it out of bounds. Dallas ball.
Well, you can see now where the two big players in the front line for the Celtics getting an opportunity to get some rest. This is what the Celtics couldn't afford to do before the trade.
With the rest they received against Atlanta the other night, that was Derek Harper. Both McHale and Parish were able to come in and get major points in the fourth quarter as Atlanta pulled close to Boston and Boston pulled away for a win. And both credited to the fact that they were rested. Parish, by the way, played only 29 minutes in that game. You see them resting on the sidelines.
Well, see, Shaw also, so 3 of their starters getting a lot of rest right now.
Lewis for long range. You saw Reggie Lewis dribbling the ball and moving. He does not handle the ball nearly as well as they'll need him to when he moves out to the guard spot. Even though he's having a terrific year. Dantley drives and is fouled by Klein.
Well, Joe did a good job of coming over to help out. That's the type of defense you need from a team concept. Unfortunately, he did draw the foul, although they could certainly have easily called it on Reggie on the way to the basket for Adrian
Dantley
Dantley.
only 50% at the line tonight, 4 out of 8.
One of the reasons Adrian's getting booed so much is because the Celtics do not like the Pistons, and they still remember Adrian Dantley as a Piston. Yeah, of course, they didn't like the Lakers either when he was with them, but it wasn't as much as I think dislike as there is for the Pistons right now.
Boston by 6. Lewis in the paint. He's already developed his move. All these players who have success in the NBA develop their favorite move, and I think that'll be his, the pull-up jumper from inside 15. Harper with the quick move. What a player, Derek Harper. You can argue about the best backcourt in the NBA, and Dallas always has a strong case with Harper and Blackman. Pinckney slashes to the hoop. The wizened Boston Garden fans appreciate that because they know that that's what Boston needs there is a forward who can drive to the hoop as well as Pinckney. Now defending Perkins, foul away from the ball.
Well, they finally called a foul on Lewis for holding on to Dantley. But you're talking about the favorite move. Here he catches it. He gets Dantley out of position, into the middle. Boom. The plant up and 2. I personally like to see him square to the basket a little bit more, but if he keeps shooting him that well, he can do it that way.
4 personals on Lewis now, by the way.
See, that's what Adrian Dantley brings. He gets the guy guarding him in foul trouble a lot.
Derek Harper is heating up. Harper has 16 points. And 9 assists. And what, about 5 steals? 6 steals. Heck of a game tonight for Derek. Paxson has it stripped away, and here comes Brad Davis to Harper.
That's a great drive. And Jimmy Rogers does not like it as the lead's back to 4. We had another mini surge, and I guarantee you'll see Parish and McHale at the startup of the play again.
Boston by 4 with 8:09 remaining, and Harper has hit his last 6. The rivalry, you see why Boston misses Larry Bird so much. Boston down by 2. This is 1988 action between these two teams. Down by 2. Bird from 25. Celtics win it 105-104. Larry, come back soon, they're saying here in Boston. The earliest estimates are about the 16th or 17th of March. The 16th is the day the Celtics have a game, but neither Bird nor the doctors nor Red Auerbach will pick an exact date when Bird comes back because they're watching him carefully. He is working out with the team.
Those two buddies over there are battling for airtime. Friends, but obviously for different teams.
8 minutes to go in this game. Boston by 4. Mavericks have never won at Boston Garden. The only building the Mavericks have never won a game in the NBA in their history. Trying to get it to Pinckney, who is posted over the shorter Dantley. Paxson with the knifing move. Tip in, McHale. He has 18. Dantley's going to work on Pinckney. He got the ball way out this time. Look how far he's backed in. The ball away. Rims out. Williams missing. Parish keeps it alive. Davis has it. Pinckney challenged the shot. Rebound, Dennis Johnson.
Not a good shot by Herb Williams.
Paxson has McHale in one of his favorite spots. The double team.
He walked again, and that's poetic justice right there, Bob.
But obviously he lost control and went out of bounds. But again, Pinckney playing in here as Boston has a very big front line there with Parish, McHale, and Pinckney. And McHale was looking for Ed out on the baseline when he threw it out of bounds.
There's another foul. Boy, Pinckney just destroyed Adrian. They finally called it. I mean, but Pinckney, he could have got arrested for what he did to Dantley the first time.
Yeah, it's his first personal. You have to ask the question, though. Better to foul Dantley perhaps there than when he's on his way to the hoop and the three-point opportunity, if you got to do it.
No question about that.
Let's see if he mugs him again. Three-point basket by Derek Harper.
Boy, Harper is almost single-handedly keeping them right in this ball game.
Harper with 21 now. 7 baskets in a row for Harper. Johnson's open for 19. Dennis Johnson. 95, 96, 91. Boston up by 5. It'll be Mavericks ball. Boston took a 13-12 lead in this game midway in the first quarter. Has led ever since by as much as 12. The Mavs keep pounding back in here. They're down 5 now, but can't quite close the gap thus far.
But do we have the deep hole syndrome taking effect again tonight?
Harper with 2 triples in a row. Somebody's going to have to get in his face. 24 points for Derek. And 8 hoops in a row, including 2 3-pointers. Looked like Paxson dribbled it out of bounds there. McHale, the jump hook. He'll go to the line. Brian Shaw back in for Boston. We talked about both of these teams in the East and West Conference in the race for the playoffs. You see Boston has got to look behind them for particularly Washington. That 8th spot, 8th and final playoff spot, and it's a real close 1-game differential between Dallas and Portland.
There are a lot of other teams in that race. That Western Conference is going to be a dogfight all the way down to the end of the season to see who makes it.
Boston has a 4-point lead. They can't keep trading baskets and keep the lead with Harper hitting his triples. Nice pass from Harper that time to Herb Williams. Dennis Johnson. Check it. They're going to call it on Shaw. That's 5 personals on Shaw. Coming up next, speaking of Portland, battling for the playoff spot with Dallas against Philadelphia. Pete Van Wieren, Steve Jones standing by for that one. Blackman's going to get back in here for the Mavericks. Jimmy Rogers has said all year with the injury problems to Bird and the tremendous playing time for his front line that Boston's been in a lot of ball games that they've lost this year late but can't hold on.
At least 10 games they feel they could have won had it not been for the fact that the front line got so tired.
That's happening again here tonight with 5.5 minutes to go. It's only a 2-point Celtics lead. They've led by as many as 12. Parish reverse it around to Dennis Johnson. In and out, tip in, McHale, rebound, Perkins, and a big one. Dallas can tie.
I don't think it was a fatigue factor, just that Harper's gotten exceptionally hot for Dallas.
Dallas looking for their first win ever at the Garden. Dantley guarded by Pinckney. Looking for him down low. and they get him. No basket. Pinckney fouled him before the hoop.
That's the 15th foul against Boston. You look at the position Dantley has over the back. Pinckney with the foul, whistle before the shot by Adrian Dantley.
And timeout Boston with 4:57 to go in the ball game, and it's a 2-point Celtics lead. System, the only camera that makes time stand still.
Well, if you had your Polaroid Spectra system ready, you could take a good shot right there at the drive, but then the loose ball, another shot right there with your Spectra system, another shot there as he goes through the traffic. Now watch the good pass, and you could take a final one on that good cut to the basket by Harper. And you can do that, of course, with that camera, Bob, and get some great shots. The Polaroid Spectra system.
I've done it. I have a whole stack of them laying here tonight. And guess who's going to the free throw line once again? Adrian Dantley, who has 16 points in the ball game. And while he shoots these free throws, Rick, my question to you is what has happened to Robert Parish? Parish had 27 points and 20 rebounds in the third quarter, has scored no points and pulled down no rebounds here in the fourth.
Well, of course, he spent a lot of time on the bench in the third period, and in this fourth period, they really have not looked to go to him. They've gone a little bit more to McHale, and I think that you're absolutely right that Robert Parish needs to become more of a factor in this game, especially on the offensive end of the floor.
It is knotted at 98. Boston took an early first quarter 13-12 lead, and this is the first time that Dallas has caught him. Reggie, Lewis, Parish, and McHale up front with Dennis Johnson and Shaw, the starters for Boston, in there right now. And finally, they call the foul that'll be on Harper.
Yeah, that's how Perkins should have been talking to his teammate Harper to let him know that screen was coming. Harper had no idea, just crashed into Kevin McHale.
Boston's in the penalty, and the next foul against Dallas will send the Celtics to the line. Good Dallas defense. McHale draws a triple team. Rebound Perkins. Harper, it's 2-on-1. Parish with a great defensive transition game. McHale tipped in the miss from Shaw. Credit that to Parish all the way end to end to intercept the attempted pass from Derek Harper.
Yeah, Lewis did a pretty good job too of playing some defense to cause the bad pass because Dantley was wide open.
Shot clock to 7 seconds. Down to Dantley against Lewis. The turnaround off the glass.
The inside, Dallas is starting to do a good job of narrowing the gap, but they're beginning to the line, Bob. 20-7 in free throws attempted here. They've outscored Boston 12 points in the free throw line this half.
Now Parish gets it down inside. Draws the double team. Feeds Shaw. Blocked by Perkins. And Dallas can take the lead with it knotted at 100. 3:30 remaining in the game. Dennis Johnson, once the best defensive player in the league, playing on Harper, and a major turnover from the hands of Rolando Blackman. Tied at 100. Parish looking for Lewis off the Kevin McHale pick off the glass. Nowhere. Parish stole the rebound from behind. The tip in, Brian Shaw. What a ball game in Boston.
But again, by not blocking out for a big man and putting a body on a guy like Parish, if you put your body into him, Bob, he can't make that jump or that rebound to keep it alive.
Boston by 2. Shot clock to 8 seconds for the Mavericks. Now the Celtics with their defense. Blackman driving on Shaw over McHale. Rebound Lewis, but stolen by Blackman. Lewis never really controlled that. Perkins driving on McHale. McHale had to foul him.
See, but again, we've seen this happen on numerous occasions tonight. The defender makes a move because he's sloughing off back in, and he comes running out at the offensive man, and the guy goes by. Now, here's that rebound. Again, you see, Parish able to keep it alive because Williams released and went to the basket. There's the misses. Perkins did a good job, but Shaw was there to tip in the second miss.
And the excitement on the Boston bench. Boston up by 2. Dallas has a timeout with 2:21 remaining.
Johnson will bring it in.
to Purvis short. Back to Johnson from 55 feet. Oh, it's good! He banks in a 55-footer.
Still got a second left.
It goes to Manning, who'll try to retaliate. He does! In the final 3 seconds, a pair of
NBA action.
Can you
It's
believe it?
fantastic.
Twice!
Bob Neal and Rick Barry with you at Boston Garden. We have a beauty here. 2:21 to go in the ball game, and almost single-handedly in this half, Derek Harper has brought the Mavs back. Last time they led was 12-11 in the first quarter.
Well, he's done an outstanding job for them, and that man has to get back, as you pointed out, involved in the offense. Robert Parish of Boston. Rolando Blackman has disappeared also, but that's because Harper has been such a force. Blackman with only 2 points in this entire half, none in the last 19 minutes.
Perkins with 2 at the free throw line. He could tie it.
But again, Dallas getting inside to be able to get to the line. I mean, they have now taken over 20 free throws in this half alone, and Boston's only taken about 7 free throws. And that's been really the big difference, along with Harper, for the Mavs.
It's tied at 102 with 2:21 remaining. Boston has their starters in there. Shaw and Johnson in the backcourt. Parish, McHale, and Lewis up front. Lewis getting free, but the shot clock's down to 5 seconds. 4, 3. Johnson has to go for 3. Give it to him! Dennis Johnson! How many times has Larry Bird, as he stands on the sideline, seen Dennis Johnson, who was silent? No points in the first half, was 2 of 8 before he hit that critical one. And now Parish emerges. Boston by 3. McHale with a tough turnaround.
2 bad shots in a row. Harper didn't need to take that three-pointer. He rushed that shot, and certainly McHale didn't need to take the one he just took.
Boston by 3. Minute 25 to go in this ballgame. Blackman isolated against Shaw. Spin move. Parish kept it alive. McHale has the loose ball. Much of the crowd on their feet here at the Garden with 1 minute remaining in the ballgame. Shot clock to 7 seconds. Look at Johnson all the way for the last 5 Boston points contributed from Dennis Johnson, who had scored none at the half. Let's go to Craig Sager in our studios in Atlanta.
Well, thank you, Bob. Everything has been going so well for the New York Knicks until now. Last year's Rookie of the Year has been placed on the injured list. Mark Jackson with torn cartilage in his right knee. A further examination will be needed to determine if the injury can heal with rest or if surgery is imminent. Jackson complained of pain in his knee after last night's victory over Miami. Back to Bob Neal and Rick Barry. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Craig. Well, that's terrible news. One of the most exciting teams in the NBA, and let's hope that young man will be all right. That's terrible to hear.
It certainly is. But I'll tell you one thing. You have just witnessed what we have seen happen so many times throughout his career. Dennis Johnson, a player who doesn't seem to be doing very much. When the game gets close and it's on the line, he comes through, and here he is with the clock running down, nothing but net on the three-pointer, and Larry Bird right there, one of his biggest supporters. Then, of course, he came back with a big drive for another 2 and 5-point lead for Boston thanks to Dennis Johnson.
Dennis has only 9 points in the game. You just saw him score 5. Look at Tony Gaston and Red Auerbach.
Al Cohen also, the VP right in front of him.
Dennis Johnson also with 7 assists tonight. That's incredible. 5 of the last 5 Boston points to take a 5-point lead after it was tied at 102, and now only 58 seconds remaining in the ball game. Dallas has never won here at Boston, and they were oh so close only about 30 seconds ago. And still with a tremendous amount of time here. Dallas with 2 timeouts remaining. No 20 seconds, 2 full timeouts. Boston with 2 full timeouts likewise. Dallas will inbound at the half court.
Well, Kevin McHale's had a nice half also, where he had an 8 at the half. He's got 22 back up to his average, and done a nice job for them. But the old deep hole syndrome seems to be coming true again, Bob. You know, you get behind, you dig that hole, you fight to crawl, you get out of it, and you just can't quite seem to turn it over.
Harper, he could use one of his three-pointers here. Here's Blackman, who's been so silent in this quarter, on his way to the hoop. Big basket by Rolando Blackman.
They didn't need the three right there. Still plenty of time left here. A few more possessions, 2 or 3 at least. Now the Celtics need to use a lot of time up here.
Let's watch the Dallas defense. Blackman on shot. There's Lewis. Defended by Dantley, and now the switch. They've got McHale on Dantley down low, but Lewis fires from a long range.
Too early.
Dallas ball. Had the mismatch. John McLeod's wanting a timeout. He gets it with 27 seconds to go in the ball game, and Boston leading it by 3.
Well, now, of course, you have a situation, Bob, where if you have a set play at halftime, at the half-court area where you'll get to take it inbounds, you can try and get it in and get an easy basket if you have a play set up for a pass underneath the basket that turns out to work and get a quick 2 points. That would be fine. Otherwise, it really is a situation where the three-pointer certainly is a factor to try and come for it now. But then again, if the opportunity is there to get the ball inside for another quick 2, you come and you trap and you play the good, tough defense, force them to take a timeout, have to get it in, try and go for a steal in that situation, and then foul them if you don't get the steal, make them go to the line, and even if you are still down by 3 and they made both free throws, you then again still, of course, have that 3-point opportunity and plenty of time on the clock. So it'll be interesting to see what the Mavs do. I would think they'll try to get somebody open for 3, but they'll probably say, hey, if the 2 is there, we got a chance, we'll take the 2, if you can do it quickly.
Richie Adubato, the man facing the cameras. John McLeod, the head coach, with his back to the camera, goes in now to talk to his 5 floor players. And you see that Adrian Dantley didn't start in the ball game, but he's finishing it for the Mavericks. And there's the 3-point situation for Dallas, should that come into effect.
I would think that he may come out of the game right now, AD. I don't know if he'll stay in, mainly because they might bring Brad Davis in as another 3-point shooter.
Good point. Matter of fact, it's looking that way. As you see, Dantley has moved out there to the fellas on the floor, and the players who will be coming into the ball game are probably on the bench listening to McLeod right now.
The Celtics have to just play the good, tough defense, and they have to play up on the guys. They don't want to let them open for that 3-point shot, but not to the point that they give up an easy 2 points inside either, but they must not foul.
Here's the situation. 27 seconds remaining in the game. Boston leading at 107-104. Timeouts remaining. Dallas has 1 remaining. Boston 2. Derek Harper will inbound right in front of our telecast table here at the Garden. Dennis Johnson will play right up on him. Davis has replaced Dantley. Pass inside to Williams, back to Harper. Dennis Johnson all over Harper. Williams on the drive, fouled by Parish. Clock down to 17 seconds.
Now, see, obviously they were looking for the 3-point shot. Good defense by the Celtics. And then, wisely, they went ahead and took the opportunity with the 2-point try. But, of course, Williams not the greatest free throw shooter at the line, although he has shot well there tonight.
And Terry Tyler's going to get back into the game for Mavericks.
I'll put you on the spot again, Bob. Will he make both, or will he miss 1 or miss 2?
Oh, no, you don't.
I think he'll miss 1 of them.
Fool me once. My fault.
That's a good shot. I mean, I'm glad to see that, though. I hope he proves me wrong, because he kind of crawled about 2 or 3 of those in there. Let's see if he can knock this one in with the same type of good stroke that he put on that one. Excellent.
And it's a 1-point game with 17 seconds to go, and Jimmy Rogers says timeout. Now Boston has 1 left, as does Dallas. We'll be back to the Garden in just a moment. Don't go anywhere.
By the official vehicles of the NBA, Jeep and Eagle. Mike Woodson's jumper gives the Rockets a late lead in Houston. Who will the Dallas Mavericks go to in the clutch? Trailing by 1 with time running out, the Mavericks looked at Derek Harper to pull it out in the clutch.
Harper got it again. Derek Harper with 2 seconds left.
You can expect the best from Jeep and Eagle.
Has a similar defensive situation as Boston with 17 seconds left, and Boston has the ball.
Well, actually, it's a little bit different, Bob. It's what we had discussed earlier. Is right now they've got to play.
I didn't say exactly.
Exactly.
But they got similar.
They have to go ahead and play the good. They don't want, in this situation, they want a foul. You know, because they don't want too much time to go off the clock. What they try to do is go for the steal on the inbounds pass. Okay, they get the inbounds pass. And if they can make the steal, they, of course, go down and try and score the easy basket if they can. But if not, they got to take the foul. Now, what you do is look and see who's on the court, Bob, and you try to overplay those people who you don't want to get the ball into their hands, and let a guy who's not the best free throw shooter get the ball. If you don't get that, you let him go towards the ball. If you don't get the steal, you foul that man immediately.
Kevin McHale will inbound for Boston.
See, now I would, if I were there, I would put Joe Klein in the ball game, only because he leads the NBA in free throw shooting percentage, and certainly a foul is going to be imminent, and I would want to have my best free throw shooters in there.
Boston could run the clock out should that happen. That's highly unlikely. McHale calls a timeout, 22nd. That was Boston's last 22nd timeout. Now, both Dallas and Boston have one full timeout remaining each.
Well, Dallas did what they needed to do, playing good, tough defense. Now, if they could do that again, the Celtics will be forced to call their last timeout. If Kevin McHale is wise enough to do that, which I'm sure he would if the same scenario took place. So let's see what the Celtics come up with to get this ball inbounds, and let's see what the Mavericks do once the pass comes in, if they don't get a steal, if they do indeed foul immediately.
Dallas has on the floor Herb Williams, Sam Perkins, Terry Tyler, Rolando Blackman, and Derek Harper. Boston has their starters out there. Perkins with those extra long arms in front of McHale. Into Parish. Back to McHale, a turnover.
That's a backcourt violation.
Dallas ball with 14 seconds remaining in the game, and Dallas uses their last timeout and an opportunity to win this one, trailing by one. Parish tried to get it back to McHale, and it went across the timeline.
Well, in that case, by not taking that foul immediately when they didn't have the steal, it paid off for them. It would have been interesting to have seen if they would have fouled if the ball had been caught by a Celtic. But we'll watch the play again. The pass will commit to Parish, 0-0. There they go to double. He quickly got rid of it before a foul came through it behind McHale. It was just a bad pass by Parish. That, of course, the backcourt violation. So the Mavericks with a chance to get the lead here, trailing by one with 14 seconds.
Coming up after this ball game, stay tuned for our second of the doubleheader on this Friday night. Philadelphia is out at Portland. Pete Van Weer and Steve Jones will have that ball game for you. And then immediately following that, Inside the NBA with Fred Hickman on an NBA Friday night on the Superstation.
Well, right now it's an opportunity for the Dallas Mavericks. They need, of course, to get the ball inbounds safely. The Celtics, of course, cannot foul. And what Dallas, I would think, would try to do, Bob, would to get themselves a good opportunity off of a set play, shoot the ball with only a few seconds left in the clock. In the event that they were to miss it, they may get one offensive rebound opportunity. However, you don't want to shoot it too soon, because if you do make it, that gives Boston, with that one timeout they have left, to get it at half court and plenty of time to set up a play for themselves to win the game. So that's what you like to have happen ideally if you're the Dallas Mavericks. For the Celtics, again, the good, tough defense, and whatever you do not foul. And then make sure that you get a rebound on the missed shot by screening off.
14 seconds remaining. Boston by one. Dallas with the ball. Dallas has only beaten Boston 2 times in franchise history, and never here at the Garden. Dantley back into the ball game. Dantley, Williams, Perkins up front with Blackman and Harper.
Obviously, to be Dantley or Blackman, they'll look for.
There's Blackman off the screen. See the time remaining in the lower right. Blackman on the drive. Out of bounds. Dallas ball with 5 seconds remaining in the game.
See, I think Rowe went a little bit too early. But in this case for them, it turned out to be fortuitous, because they did get a lucky bounce and got the ball back, even though Boston had inside position.
Dallas without timeouts. Dantley sits down. Tyler back in. And Block comes in for Williams. Seconds to go in the game. Dallas down by 1. Harper, the fall away from the corner. Celtics win 107-106.
Bob, that was just the most horrendous shot, I think, to take with 5 seconds left. I can't believe that they couldn't get a better shot than that.
And the Mavericks still have no victories in Boston, and you can see the anguish on the face of John McHale. So the Celtics, led by as many as 12, the Mavericks dug out of the hole, fought back to a tie. Dennis Johnson hit 5 straight Boston points to put the Celtics up. Mavericks kept clawing again, had their opportunity. The ball with 14 seconds.